I certainly have that great respect for them. And
we have to believe we can beat them, which is the main thing.
Griffons win! Griffons win for the first time in program history! Missouri Western State University has an outright MIAA championship as they rally from 17 down. Missouri Western going to hang on and defeat Northwest Missouri State.
We know they're going to play hard. They want to beat us. We want to beat them very badly.
And it's like that annoying neighbor that everybody has. He's there, but you just got to deal with him.
Most people think, it's all hatred. It's a lot of fun. I mean, the games are a lot of fun. The atmosphere is a lot of fun. Most people know my father and me in the Missouri Western-Northwest rivalry, but it also goes back to my family from Savannah, and like Maryville.
I think they have some fanatical people, no doubt about it.
And so they meet again. 8-2 Missouri Western, ranked number 19 in the nation. 10-0 Northwest, ranked number 2 in the nation. They clash Saturday at 2:37 p.m. They always say throw the records out the window in a rivalry. This cliche holds true. Since 2001, 10 of the last 14 meetings have been decided by 7 points or less. The Griffons have had the most recent success. They've beaten the Bearcats 2 out of the last 3, including the 21-20 come-from-behind thriller last year for the MIAA title. This year, the father, the son, the Griffons fight to play on. Their postseason lives on the line.
Playing for our lives. We're playing for our lives this week.
You have to get in the playoffs. I mean, that's in order for us to get in, we have to beat Northwest, and that's first and foremost. So it's huge.
You're watching Griffon Sports Insider, presented by Spine and Sport Physical Therapy. Now, here are your hosts, Brett Easley and Ryan Menley.
Hello and welcome. It's week 11. The showdown we've all been waiting for is finally here, Brett Easley.
Everybody has been waiting for it, haven't they? Definitely. It's Northwest week. The undefeated Bearcats come to St. Joe Saturday. Griffons will try to play spoiler to a perfect season while facing a must-win to keep their playoff hopes alive.
It will mark the 4th straight week the Griffons will face a nationally ranked team. They got back on the winning track last week at number 15 Washburn.
Topeka, Kansas, home of 15th ranked Washburn. Number 22 Western trying to snap a 2-game losing streak, playing its 3rd nationally ranked team in 3 weeks. Griffons get the scoring started first in the first quarter. Travis Partridge to Derek Livy caps an 8-play, 80-yard drive, 7-0 Western. Now coming into this game, Washburn hadn't given up more than 185 rushing yards in a game all season, but they haven't seen a back like Raphael Spencer all season. Running out of the Wildcat here, 30-yard gain. Couple plays later, Spencer's still running. 6-yard touchdown run. Western takes a 17-7 lead to halftime. This was a 1-score game in the 3rd quarter, but the Ichabods make the first mistake and the Griffs take advantage. Washburn's Jamie Myers fumbles the punt. Western's George Belter recovers, and that leads to this. Partridge punches it in from a yard out. That's his 36th career rushing touchdown. That's a new school record. It breaks running back Michael Hill's mark set a year ago. It's now a 24-10 game. Washburn's O entered this game banged up. Western's D took advantage for most of the game. Backup quarterback Joel Piper getting abused and then pickpocketed. Mark Harrison with his 3rd INT of the year. The defense was very good for about 55 minutes or so. Skip to the 4th quarter, under 2 minutes to play. Griffs holding a 10-point lead. Spencer goes lead expansion. Outside and gone. 47 yards to the house. Spencer with 193 of his team's 319 rushing yards on the day. Griffs go up 34-17, but the Ichabods will not go away in the final minutes. They try to unleash a furious comeback. They scored 14 points in the game's final 90 seconds. They scored 21 actually in the final 2 minutes, but the Griffins get 3 onside kicks and they hold on for a 34-31 win. It wasn't as close as the scoreboard says it was, but after a 2-game losing streak, the Griffs will take a win any way they can get it.
We just want to win really bad. I mean, I know me personally, my food didn't taste as good all week. I was in a bad mood.
And we wanted to get back to Griffon football. The past 2 weeks we haven't been playing Griffon football.
It was real big for me because I know that I haven't been playing up to my abilities, and I took I had to take a step back and look at film and what was I doing wrong. And this is a really good, for me especially. The O-line really did a job.
They play right into our hands with what we do, and we fit them up, we cover them up. We can pop some big runs and just kind of stay after them because we were bigger up front and just more physical today.
You did win. You got 8 wins. 8 wins is always a great season. Now you put yourself in position where if something happens next week to play well, who knows what can go down.
Next up, the regular season finale with rival Northwest. The Bearcats come to St. Joe Saturday with a perfect 10-0 record. The Griffins have won 2 of the last 3 meetings against their rivals. They need another one to keep their playoff hopes alive.
These guys we're playing Saturday are playing great football. I mean, they're not even playing anybody close.
It's our rivalry, our ultimate rivalry, and we're going to come to play.
And for Raphael Spencer's Saturday performance, he was named the MIAA Conference's Player of the Week on the offensive side. We'll talk this Saturday's big showdown in Joetown with head coach Jerry Partridge when GSI comes back.
I am your physical therapist. My job is to make you better. Go ahead, give me your worst injury. I can fix it. You can ignore that shoulder. You can go to someone else. Doesn't matter. To really get better, you gotta go through me. I'm Fred Schunkweiler, and this is Spine and Sport.
And so they meet again. 8-2 Missouri Western, ranked number 19 in the nation. 10-0 Northwest, ranked number 2 in the nation. They clash Saturday at 2:37 p.m. They always say throw the records out the window in a rivalry. This cliche holds true. Since 2001, 10 of the last 14 meetings have been decided by 7 points or less. The Griffins have had the most recent success. They've beaten the Bearcats 2 out of the last 3, including the 21-20 come from behind thriller last year for the MIAA title.
Well, the pinnacle is here, the crown jewel segment of Beatboxing with Bo. It's Rivalry Week. The Griffins take on Northwest Missouri State. Bo?
Guys.
Huh?
No segment this week. We canceled it last week. Remember? Bo got it wrong. We canceled this in a row. We just can't.
Hey, Jabroni, don't you dare interrupt my segment anymore. You see this microphone? I'm gonna stick this where the sun don't shine and make a hand puppet out of you.
Fair enough. Proceed.
Leave the clipboard.
Okay.
Well, sorry about that, folks. Now on to bigger and better things. Bo, let's get right on to it. I see the meanness in your eyes. I cannot wait to hear how's it going to break down this week, Griffs and Bearcats.
Bearcat Nation feels total pain. Griffs roll 30-10.
Joining us now in the flesh, Jerry Partridge.
In the flesh.
You know, Bo he was a little off on the other team's score last week, but he had your score right.
Bo had it where
he's studying better now,
to the point to where we were still trying. And our kids kind of quit playing at that point, and at least our defensive kids during those last couple drives.
Bo got humbled, though, so he's making it a little closer, so hopefully he's right.
Bo needs to be humbled.
Yeah, well, he already has been right through that. Let's talk about Northwest. We're into that now. We talked about how close this series has been, but the last 4 meetings, the winning team has been down double digits at halftime. Explain that.
We need to try to be tied if we can. I don't want to be down double digits, and obviously it's very scary to be up double digits, so we want to be tied.
We just lead the whole way. Just close.
Yeah,
that'd
be nice. That'd be nice.
This week's finally here, and this is the one the fan base, boy, they live for this, and it's a fun game. But when it comes right down to it, what have you seen on tape from them? Obviously, we know they're good, both sides of the ball, special teams, and all facets of the game. But from what you've seen, and you may not have seen a lot yet, but what makes them so good?
Well, I mean, you talked about, I mean, out of conference stats, I looked, there was 9 categories they're number 1 in. They are defensively, they're very, very good, very athletic, very physical, play very hard, put pressure on you with 4-man pressure, a lot of twists. They will blitz some, play bump and run man-to-man. They have several people that really like corners covering out there.
But that being said, this is not they don't have the Jamaica Rectors or the Xavier Omans this year. They're doing this with kind of a no-name team. I think they're taking a little bit of pride in that. But you mentioned number 1 scoring defense in the MIAA, number 1 total defense in the MIAA. They're giving up 284 yards a game. Number 1 against the rush, number 1 against the pass. They've outscored their opponents 454 to 145. I mean, nothing's been close except for maybe 1 or 2 games here. And then they have the number 1 scoring offense in the MIAA, and they've got 2 quarterbacks. They've got a 2-quarterback system, which just usually doesn't work.
Well, you make it sound like we need to forfeit right now, but
white flag.
Yeah, that's because that's what I'm doing. I'm out here just.
The defense has some certainly, like DJ Nader to me is one of the best linebackers in our conference, no doubt about it. The other linebackers are good football players, and they have D linemen that put pressure. And then there's secondary kids. The Dixon twins are great players, and the safety Inyard is like a corner. I mean, so they have stars. Offensively, I've always been a big fan of Trevor Adams and what he does. Bowles looks like his brother running out there, same kind of athlete. They've got a few backs. They're kind of a running back by committee. I don't think anybody's as talented as what Jordan Simmons or James Franklin were, but they're all really good football players who do what they're supposed to do. And I think they're playing more efficiently offensively right now than they did last year. And their O-line's very athletic. No, they don't have the just straight star power, but again, like you said, I think they take pride in that. And there's just a bunch of good role-playing football players that are playing really well.
I suppose you could make this argument about any week in the sport of football, but I felt like in this game especially, when you look at the skill guys, they match up pretty well. But this game has really been one up front. How do you feel about the matchups on both sides of the ball?
Well, I put our D-line physically up against anybody. We've been very good run stoppers. Those guys do a good job of it. Our D-line does. Getting the standard gap, doing what they're supposed to do. They're athletic and strong. And I think their O-line, they're going to be physical, and there's a couple guys in there that have a lot of nasty streak to them. And offensive line-wise, that's going to be the big challenge. Is their D-line is excellent and very physical, and the ability to give our skill kids a chance to make plays is going to be, of the utmost importance. I mean, I think Raphael Spencer, given space, is going to make things happen. If Travis is given time, he's going to make things happen. And we have some, our tight end, to me, is the best tight end in our conference. I think that Stephon Weaver's starting to be a big play guy. So given a opportunity like we did late in the game last year, all of a sudden we started protecting and gave Travis time, and he started making his play.
You talk about the Mizzou-KU rivalry. That's one of the best rivalries in America, one of the oldest ones. But this one's pretty good too, and a lot of respect there. But there's also some hatred from the outside. But it's just been a weird deal. It seems like every time your guys get together, it seems like less on the field, but usually something happens off the field, just kind of crazy stuff during the game that kind of makes the game kind of a side event,
Insert video here.
Yeah, insert video. Yeah, you band directors, administrative folks. I mean, sorry to get into that. It happens. It's documented. It happens. Is it fun to you?
The game is, and the competition, and I have a lot of respect for their coaching staff. I can only speak to my respect for them, not necessarily back. I don't know the other way, but I certainly have that great respect for them and past coaches there and all that stuff. And so I respect the athletes. A lot of those athletes are kids I try to recruit, and I respect what they have going for them. I think they have some fanatical people, no doubt about it, that try to insert themselves into situations at the end of games at times.
Coach P, the other thing, a lot special about Saturday, but the other thing special too is, we hope to play on after Saturday, whether that's the playoffs, whether that's a bowl game, but it's the last scheduled game, and we say we honor 16 seniors before the game who, with a win, will tie the record for the winningest four-year senior class in school history with 38 wins. A lot of great players, a lot of great memories, obviously special to you. The last guaranteed time Travis is ever going to play, I'm sure special to you as not only a coach, but obviously as a dad. Just reflect on these guys.
Well, it's always hard when senior day rolls around. You get them when they're young and they're redshirted, and you kind of look at those kids now that they're redshirted now. You know that 5 years from now that's going to roll through. And I've been very fortunate to be here a long time where, I've seen a lot of them roll in and roll out. And so, it is amazing to think that one of those is my son. He is, Mike Nicholson, Coach Nick, texted me after Saturday's game talking about how Travis may have been the most he got kind of picked over and analyzed Missouri Western football player ever, and a lot of it very unfairly. And he was under a magnifying glass.
Coming in, too.
That they lived up to and way overshot what anybody thought was going to happen, and had a tremendous career, and to be the all-time leading touchdown rushing leader career-wise amongst all these players that I've been around and played with or friends with or coached, or to see his name among that is very special to me, no doubt. I care too much about this program. I love my son too much not to put him out there. We couldn't do it. And he, by far and away, proved he could.
How about a key to victory Saturday?
We got to outplay them. We can play with them, no doubt about it. I mean, 2 weeks ago, no one even thought there was a shot this could be a blowout. But we can't turn it over. I mean, they thrive on turnovers. They take the ball away a lot. We're going to have to find a way to score some points. Probably more than the 21 we scored last year. I mean, it's going to be difficult to hold them much lower than 28 or 30 or whatever it is. They're averaging almost 50. So we've got to stop the run, and then we got to cover people. So, that says a lot of things right there. Score points, cover them, and stop the run. And don't turn it over. What else?
I can't believe that, score more points than them. That's the key to victory, I think.
I think that's all you need to do.
I can't believe
right?
before I asked him that question, he really thought this segment was over, because it's time for our favorite part, and I know yours. Easley's Tantalizing Trio, and you know what? It's another seafood fest. It's early November. It's kind of chilly outside, and it just seems like seafood to me. Speaking of seafood, guess what? We had a Griffon luncheon first. If you don't come to the Griffon luncheons, it's every Monday at 36th Street Food and Drink Company, noon to 1, $7 buffet lunch. And on the buffet this week was fish and crab cakes. Do you have a favorite type of fish?
Catfish.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this question. Can we have a Broncos-Chiefs prediction, please?
Which game? Sunday?
Sunday Night Football, yes.
Chiefs will lose Sunday.
Even with or without Peyton Manning, he may not
Looks
play?
like he's going to play, by the way, just a sprained ankle.
I don't think we'll win that game.
Nick, Chiefs fan for life has been so down on the Chiefs this year.
And he's always up on the Royals. He's down
Selective.
on the Chiefs.
I'm selectively. Yeah.
Coach P.
I think we're going to beat him in Arrowhead.
And if you believe in fate like I do, did you know, you did know this, this year's team had something in common, obviously, with the 1981 team, in which I think you were a freshman on. Only 2 teams in school history to start 7-0. And in doing some research, I did not realize that was the first Western Northwest game. What do you remember about that game, if anything?
The game was late in the game. I think Missouri Western was up by 5 or so, and Northwest was driving, and Tom Early intercepted and scored a touchdown, and we emptied them to the field and got a penalty.
20-8 was the final score of that game. Griffs beat Northwest in 81, opened 7-0. Griffins opened 7-0 this year. I believe in fate.
History can repeat itself.
History can repeat itself.
Let's not have another classic. Let's just have a win.
They're good. It's going to be a great challenge.
Well, good luck.
Good luck.
2:37 Saturday, senior day, and the regular season home finale against Northwest. We'll be right back.
Sometimes I wonder if Elvis had hip pain. And if he did, I know I could have fixed it. And if I did, he'd still be alive today.
The Brett Weiberg era began this past weekend with a 1-1 start for Missouri Western men's basketball. The Griffins were in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for the Sanford Pentagon Showcase. They beat Augustana 65-64 Saturday in the final seconds, but fell to Northern State 87-78 on Sunday. The Griffins are home for 3 games this week. They host NAIA Midland Wednesday at 7 p.m. and then begin the Hilliard Tip-Off Classic Friday with an 8 p.m. tip-off against William Jewell and a Saturday 8:30 meeting with Midwestern State of Texas. Brett Easley has Coach Brett Weiberg.
Coach Weiberg, a week in the books. How do you feel about your guys?
Good. Overall, I thought this past weekend we competed hard against 2 quality opponents, well-coached opponents, and have a big week ahead. With 3 games, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
We'll talk about that. And these opponents are good. If people look and see Midland and say NAIA opponent, they got to handle them. But Final Four last year, they're ranked number 8 in the country. And then this weekend, 2 good Division II opponents. William Jewell, folks know about. Midwestern State, folks may not know about, but they've got a great tradition. Lead 8-2 the last 3 years.
That's right. Opens up with Midland, who is very well coached. They have 3 starters returning, I believe, from last year's team that was in the Final Four. They're ranked 8th in the country in their division, and it'll be a challenge. And then we have William Jewell, who I know is well coached. I mean, he's won literally like almost 800 games, Coach Holly has. And so that'll be a different challenge in a respect. They push it hard, and they do some things offensively that'll make us have to guard. And then we'll cap it Saturday with Midwestern, who's very talented, very well coached. They play hard, they'll press some, they'll zone some, they'll play pressure man. And then they'll put several guys on the floor that can score the ball.
They talked about the player Ryan Devers, true point guard, plays hard, can score, can defend. He's really been what you thought he was going to be early on.
He has. He's a very good player. And I think one of the challenges that we have is trying to figure out how much we want in his hands, because we do want it in his hands, but not all the time. And so looking forward to just kind of adjusting what we do a little bit and letting him play on the ball when we need him to, but also giving him some opportunity off the ball, because fortunately we have other guys that can score, and I think where he's going to be his best is when we really need him to take over the game and not throughout the course of the entire game.
Brett, good luck this week.
Thank you very much.
Brett Weiberg, I'm Brett Easley. More GSI after this.
Thanks, gentlemen. Missouri Western women are off to a 1-0 start. The Griffins tipped off their season last Saturday by defeating Shadron State 59-38. Coach Rob Edmondson, all about defense. Well, how's this for defense? The Griffins held Shadron to 9 first-half points. The Griffins have 2 home games this week, a Tuesday night 6 p.m. meeting with Avila and a Friday night 6 p.m. game against Illinois Springfield. Coach Easley with Coach Edmondson.
Coach Edmondson, first week of the season under our belt. Just talk about where you think your team is right now.
Well, I think we're still in that learning phase, getting adjusted to each other. We've got 8 newcomers with 8 returners, so it'll take a little bit to gel that chemistry together. But we're excited to get underway, and our kids are excited to get on the floor and play against someone other than themselves and practice every day. They get tired of bumping and grinding against each other. So I'm optimistic, cautiously. I think this team has got some potential to have a great season. And, obviously we got a lot of season ahead of us and there are a lot of things that factor into that, but we're excited.
Well, when you look at the new players you brought in, of course, I think most people point to the strength in the front line. And one of those players last week, Tira Hall, really played well. Exhibition game double-double against Shadron State. She's off to a good start.
Off to a great start. And that's one of the things that we identified that we felt like our program needed to take a step up in after that first trip to the MIAA is, just getting some size and getting some strength and some presence down there in the paint. I think we've done that.
And obviously last year, up and down a little bit, shooting from the perimeter. I think you like what you've seen so far early on in that category as well.
Well, I feel like we're a little bit better. Consistency I don't know about, but we do have more kids that can shoot it. So hopefully on any given night, we can find several kids, as it's already been seen in the Living the Dream game. Alex Saxon came off the bench and went 3 out of 4 from the three-point line and gave us 9 points in about 12 minutes. So we're always looking for those players in games, and we kind of feel who's hot, and we get them the ball if they are, and if not, we hopefully got enough shooters to fill the voids.
Thanks again, gentlemen. As we go to break, a look back on the week that was for Missouri Western volleyball. GSI will be right back. A wild weekend for Missouri Western volleyball. Friday, the Griffins taking on a 26-1 Central Missouri squad. The Jennies ranked 5th in the nation, but the Griffins giving them all they could handle. This one was a seesaw back and forth battle all night. Western took a 2-1 lead, but Central battled back to force a 5th and deciding set. The last time the Griffins went 5 and defeated the Jennies, 2005. That was head coach Marion Carbon's senior season as a player. The Griffins had an 11-8 lead in the final frame, but Central storms back and comes back to take a 15-13 victory, and they take the match 3-2. The Griffins continue to push nationally ranked teams to the brink, but once again come up short. And despite this program's continued ascension, no one's into moral victories around here.
We're too good for moral victories anymore. We have to expect to win on nights when we play well enough to win, and can't be satisfied with we played good against a good team.
We definitely wanted the upset tonight. We believe that we can win every single night, so this hurts just as bad as any other loss this year. But again, we also have a game tomorrow, and we got to bounce back and get the win.
Saturday, the Griffins would take their oh-so-close aggressions out on Lindenwood. Former coach Corey Frederick looking on, seeing a team he helped build continue to show vast improvement. The Lions would take the first set, but the rest of the match, all Griffins all the time. Erin Backus making the most of her senior night. She had a career-high 14 kills as Western rolls to a 3-1 win. The Griffins run their record to 15-14 overall.
8-7 in MIAA play. They clinched their first ever berth in the conference postseason tournament.
We have team chemistry that's second to none. That's what I think is getting us through. We have talent, of course we do, but our team chemistry, we have relationships that are going to last forever.
As a former volleyball coach, I have learned a little bit about the game, and I'm curious, you got a yellow card tonight. You want to explain that? Because you really didn't look like it was a very good argument.
I actually didn't get a yellow card. Aaron Backus got a team delay.
Oh, that's your excuse?
Illegally.
That's an excuse. You realize that. We all know that was your yellow card.
Actually, he asked me if I wanted to make the sub or get the yellow card, and so I chose to take the yellow card.
That is very disappointing.
And make the sub.
That's highly disappointing.
I know, I'm sorry.
I thought we
Not a
trained
good
you better
story.
than that.
Now David Bass is going to sling him to the ground, his second sack in this football game.
Spinal sport treatment with Fred, his methods are extremely different from anybody I've ever been with because he takes your injury and breaks it down to a T. I came here right after I had my bone spur surgery for my left foot. He broke my body down, so he kind of went in and took it step by step from my hips down to my knees, to my calves, to my ankles, and fixed everything. I recommend Spinal Sport because of Fred. He has a passion for his athletes and getting people back to where they need to be.
No win. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and it is certainly long enough, and it is certainly perfect. Another field goal by Greg Zerline. He is now 5 for 5.
The most helpful physical therapist in the world on field goal kicking.
When the game's on the line, there's no one better than Zerline.
Train like the pros, my friends.
Okay, now that we've wrapped up the functional movement screen, now we've got to figure out what to do. And so we put all Dalton scores into the Move to Perform software program. This is an international database that's used all over the world using this test. From this test, we found that Dalton falls into a moderate risk for injury, but this is to be expected because Dalton had an ACL replacement a year ago. So as we look at the exercises that we prescribe then for Dalton, we're looking at what are called correctives. And so as we watch, the functional movement screen identified that Dalton needed some more flexibility through his spine in the transverse plane to rotate better. So here we see Dalton lay on his back and he's twisting, creating some rotation through his back. But before he does that, he's pushing into that blue bolster in order to create a stable base to rotate from. Rotation is a very important part of that spinal motion. We then identified that his quadriceps were tight, so Dalton goes into a quadricep stretch, but he again needs that stability, so he's pushing into his right knee as he's stretching his left. From there, we balance out the hamstring. He's doing a little bridge exercise to fire that hamstring. The key to these tests and these corrective exercises is both mobility and stability. We get into the cage. The cage provides us a way to be stable and to create a stretch at the same time. So we go through and we stretch his thoracic spine, we stretch his quad. That's going to create that balance between mobility and stability. These are Dalton's correctives. After doing these correctives, we retest him. And on his 2 most limited tests, we find that he improves in his deep squat. He's able to get his hips a little lower. We see that he improves in his inline lunge test by keeping that bar straighter when his left leg is back. And then finally, his shoulder mobility improves because his thoracic spine is rotating better. Dalton's score improved from a 14 up to a 17 after performing these corrective exercises, reducing his risk for injury and performing better. The functional movement screen is a great tool for injury prevention, but it's also a great tool for sports performance. And by doing the proper correctives and having a physical therapist train him through, Dalton got better, performed better. That's training like the pros at Spine and Sport.
Well, nothing says fall like football and tailgating. It's our tailgate of the week. I'm here with my good friend Becky from the Water Doctor.
Becky, what about these desserts you got here this week?
Well, I always try to do something special for our to represent our football. So we have our football cake and our caramel apples, of course, the famous sugar cookies, and got to feed our cheerleaders to keep them happy and peppy.
You betcha. Now the most special right here. Look at this caramel apple. You were nice enough to give me one of these. Is this a secret recipe or what?
No, my friend and I stayed up late making those last night, so that's her secret. Yeah, I guess her secret recipe.
Well, I guess I'll try to get that secret recipe from her. Well, Becky, because you got such a great spread, looks corporate down here with these windows. We're going to give you $50 to Hy-Vee. Compliments of Griffon alum Scott Graham towards your next tailgate. Yeah. And you know when that next tailgate's going to be, don't you?
Northwest.
Is it going to be steak and lobster then?
Well, we'll have fried bear cat.
Now the Western faithful will need them out in full force this week.
Boy, we will. And looks like the weather's going to be good again. Boy, I'd love to see a lot of tailgaters out. Going to be a neat environment.
Saturday, 2:37, and oh, great. Hey, human puppet, I thought Bo vanquished you.
First of all, Bo's lucky I don't make him my human puppet. This is about Max, guys. This is about Max and his lawsuit.
You know what? I'm so tired of that guy, Max.
So did you go hire Perry Mason, or?
We all know Max is hurt, guys.
He's an idiot.
Look at that guy.
But we've got good news.
Oh.
He's decided to call a truce.
So he's jumping back on the bandwagon.
Yeah, he's back on the bandwagon.
You know what? We won last week.
We won last week. Novel.
Call off the lawsuit completely. We all have to come together. We've got Northwest this week. We've got to griff up.
Well, I guess you know what? We do need all hands.
We'll take them all this week. Let's fill it up with black and gold. We don't care.
Great, you hurt your
shoulder.
Come on in.
Oh, there he is.
Your leg
yeah, he had bandages on last week. They're off. Novel.
You're fine now?
Nothing hurts.
Just fine for the week, but there's no loss.
Of course.
You gonna be able to handle Bobby Bearcat? Or
Take Bobby on. Really comes down to you guys. There you go.
Amazing how much better you get.
Looks like he's fit. I don't know, folks.
Well, 2:37 Saturday afternoon, Western Northwest. Hopefully total pain.
Hopefully there is some total pain. We need it. Got to win to advance, I think.
It's just out for this week.
Wear gold.
Go Griffs.